Um, Hi everyone. Hi, sir. This is Purti, and today we are talking about passive reconnaissance in security testing. And my teammates are Srushti and Neelam. And here we go. This is our assignment. First, I'll talk about passive reconnaissance. Passive reconnaissance is all about gathering the information about the targeted system or network without directly interacting with them. And passive reconnaissance is all about gaining knowledge about the targeted system and about an attack and identifying potential vulnerabilities. So, passive reconnaissance, what we can do is like we can do through open source intelligence, signs that it is available information publicly, and you'll find more information, especially about the big companies. So, as a team, we thought the targeted company we will be choosing as Airbnb because it's a public platform and it is globally accessible company. That's why we have choose this. Uh, Now, as in passive reconnaissance, we found for Airbnb focusing on four key methods, that is Google Docking, DNS Dumpster, Whoeasy Lookup, and network and infrastructure mapping tools. First, I'll talk about Google Docking. We began with Google Docking, which is powerful way to uncover publicly available information that might otherwise be hard to find. For example, I have used these queries so that we'll get some PDF files or sensitive files for Google Docking. So what we found is the payment information, which we see over here, and some information I found was the subdomains, that is helpairbnb.com, hostairbnb.com, and businessairbnb.com. These documents could be exploited to gain insights information about Airbnb's financial and legal practices, which can reveal important structural details about how Airbnb organizes its customer support, business services, and more. And each of these subdomains can represent potential entry points for the attackers. And the next one, what we choose is DNS dumpster. Next, we were able to map out Airbnb's DNS record. This tool provide details about their MX records, TXT records, and host records. The MX records will help communicating, handling email information, and TXT records help reveal our sender policy information. These records show how emails are routed and authenticated, and misconfigurations here could be exploited to send phishing emails. So, generally, like for phishing emails, like in security testing, what happens is like an attacker can send a phishing email where anybody can click the link on it. So, anybody can be an attacker of phishing email. And this DNS dumpster also reveals subdomains and host records, helping security testers identify exposed areas of Airbnb's infrastructure. And the next one is Whois lookup, which we already learned in the class. Here in this Whois lookup, we got an information about domain Airbnb, who was the register, and who when was it registered, when is expiring, what is the update, and here in Whois I lookup, like such as we got client detail prohibited and client transfer prohibited, which helps prevent unauthorized transfers or deletions of the domain. This ensures a stronger security posture, though the information we gathered is also exposed, but the name servers are technical contacts that could be leveraged in future attacks. And the next, um, we I can talk about network and infrastructure mapping tools. Finally, we used Shodan, a tool that is a search engine or a tool which is used for internet connected devices that can reveal the infrastructure information of Airbnb, where we got Amazon data services they are using as a web servers or cloud servers. We got SSL certifications and all this data through through Shodan. So Shodan helps security testing for Airbnb by identifying publicly exposed devices and services. And Shodan also helped us identify open ports, SSL certificate details, and outdated service that could be exploited by attackers. Identifying these weaknesses helps pinpointing areas where Airbnb may need to strengthen its defenses such as closing unused ports or updating software. So, in conclusion, through this passive reconnaissance methods, we have gathered valuable information and Airbnb's infrastructure information, which could be useful for future security testing to identify the potential vulnerabilities. So, thank you so much. The next presentation will be continued by my teammate Srishti Patel.
Hello everyone. Today I will be discussing about the finding from the job board social media profile and public data repository that we gather for the Airbnb. First, let's start with the with we found on job board and career website like LinkedIn. We discover a lot about the technologies Airbnb use by analyzing their job posting. For example, they hire a full stack engineer who work with languages like Java, Ruby, Rails, and Python. This tells us Airbnb relies on these technologies for their backend system. While we didn't directly access internal data, we assume that these technologies could present specific vulnerabilities like outdated libraries or issue with the data handling. This information is critical for future security tests as we can focus on these technologies to identify potential weak spots such as improper data handling or security flows specific to these languages. We also found mention of JavaScript framework like React and Angular, which Airbnb uses for their front end system. These are important because they can be vulnerable to common issues like cross-site scripting. Knowing that this framework are part of their text help identify the investigate in future tests, especially when it comes securing the client side their application. Furthermore, their reliance on API and data pipeline could pose risk in API security data leaks. All of we can examine more closely during security testing. Moving on the social media, we look platform like LinkedIn to find the information about the Airbnb employee and their roles. For example, we come across profile like Rachel, a space safety specialist, and Jasmine Michels, a recruitment project specialist. Jasmine had posted about the team expansion and job openings, which gave us some insight to the new features and project of Airbnb is rolling out. This information is valuable because new feature and system changes are often areas where vulnerability can be introduced. For example, if they are developing new API platform, there is a higher chance that security testing might miss something during this release cycle. Social media also help us to understand how employees operate within the company. By seeing who works on specific project, we can target uh, future we can we can target future security tests on areas where these individuals are involved. This could be help to reveal potential weakness in process or configuration they manage. Sometimes, even without realizing it, employees share the information about the company's infrastructure technologies in their post. So we can, which can help to attackers or security tester to get better sense where to focus on their efforts. Finally, finally we examine public data repositories, particularly and Airbnb GitHub accounts. Airbnb has a 195 repositories publicly available, which contain code configuration files and documentation. By reviewing these repositories, we potentially find the sensitive information such as exposed API keys, outdated security patches, and misconfigured security settings. While we didn't access confidential data directly, we can assume that this analyzing code in this repository could reveal bugs that developer may have overlooked. This this insight is important because it could highlight the weak point in Airbnb system that we can focus in the future security test. Additionally, GitHub is a great resource for identifying the pattern in how Airbnb handles the security update and version control. In, in conclusion, the information we gather from job board, social media, and public data repository has given us valuable awareness into Airbnb technology stack, employee rules, and potential vulnerabilities. This passive recognition uh, help us identify where attacker might focus their efforts and highlights area that we should prioritize in future security testing. Thank you for attention. Now, my teammate Nilam will start over.
So hello everyone. In this segment of our passive reconnaissance on Airbnb, I'll be talking about the harvester, public forums, and legal findings. Using the harvester, we gathered a list of email addresses, IPs, and hosts related to Airbnb from public sources. For example, we found out 148 IP addresses and 6 hosts, which give a clearer view of Airbnb's attack surface. This information helps identify points where attackers could try to access Airbnb's internal systems, and these email addresses could be used in phishing attacks or other social engineering strategies. Public forum. We also explore public forums like Reddit, where users openly discuss their experiences with Airbnb. On one Reddit thread, we found out reports of a data breach that might expose customers' information. These forums can be a treasure trove of unintentional information disclosures, where users or even employees might share security flaws or complaints. This gives attacker an advantage as they can learn about weaknesses without needing to interact directly with Airbnb's infrastructure. Legal filings. Finally, we reviewed Airbnb's legal filings through resources like SEC filings. These documents provide deep insights into Airbnb's business operations, critical infrastructure, and past incidents like security breaches. Such filing often detail vulnerabilities the company has faced before, allowing attackers or security testers to understand the weak point that may still exist. This historical data is crucial for prioritizing areas that need further security assessment. So, in summary, by leveraging these public tools and resources, we have gathered significant information that could be used for the security tests on Airbnb's infrastructure. To conclude, the passive reconnaissance conducted on Airbnb revealed substantial information regarding the company's operational domain management framework and online presence. This data could assist in identifying potential vulnerabilities for future security assessment. The techniques employed allowed for thorough information gathering without violating legal boundaries, highlighting the effectiveness of passive reconnaissance in a security testing context. Thank you.